Hi everyone, welcome back to Glitter and Trauma, a Eurovision podcast. First of all, before the intro comes in, I just wanted to say that in the last episode the sound was awful. I will try to fix it this episode. I can't promise anything because I always end up putting the microphone too close to my mouth, but I will try to fix that and hopefully it's much better this time. So yeah, in with the intro. This is Glitter and Trauma, a tiny corner where we never stop talking about Eurovision.
ugly fucking outfit from Sweden. Porque ahí sí que vamos a soltar la bomba.
What happened? You didn't get shot. So big deal.
Excuse my French.
Okay, so after the last episode, which was an introduction, we finally start getting into the regular episodes of the season. And in this episode, we're going to cover some of the most important, no, important to me, Eurovision news this week. And then we're also gonna talk about Junior Eurovision because last year, even though it was held in Madrid, in Spain, I didn't follow it as much as I used to. And this year, I wasn't planning on following it either. But due to, having a podcast and also this couple of months, like before December, there's not much to talk about besides Junior Eurovision and then maybe November some like artist announcements and all of that. But I'm going to take it as an opportunity to cover and get into Junior Eurovision a little bit more. So yeah, let's get to it. So first of all, and I know this is like old news, but I didn't have the podcast back then when this came out, and now I wanted to comment on it. Martin Ostertal, the former, it was like executive supervisor or something of the contest, has quit, has like resigned, and everyone apparently on the internet was celebrating. Me too, because I hate that man. But again, we need to take into account that he was like the visible face of, yeah, is that how you say it? Well, the visible face of like the contest and all that. But keep in mind, he wasn't the only one making those shitty decisions. There was like a whole team behind him, and maybe we've taken the head of the snake away, but the rest of the snake is still there. The rest of the team is still there, and also, after 2025's contest, Martin Green had already like coming to supervise Martin Osterdahl, and we were also happy about that. But actually, we really don't know how he's gonna do things, and I'm also quite scared that he's gonna be quite supportive of that country participating because and also, oh, I hadn't taking notes on this, but also the shitty shampoo brand from that country that was like sponsoring the contest has announced that they're going to do it this year again. So, number one, I do not understand why Eurovision like accepted them as a sponsor again this year. I'm quite sure that they would have like more options to choose from. I mean, it's one of the biggest TV shows in the entire planet. Who wouldn't want to sponsor it? But they decided to stick with the genocide shampoo brand. And that's a huge disappointment. Well, it was not really surprising, but I still don't understand why they did it, and it's quite disappointing. And also, that makes me really afraid that even if that country leaves, we're going to have a huge mess because if that country leaves, the shampoo brand is also leaving. And then where does the contest get the money from this year? That is going to be a problem, and that is going to be, I think, one of the reasons the genocide country could stay in the contest, sadly. But anyways, Martin Osterda's leaving. I mean, Martin Osterda did a terrible job. Like, when did he arrive in the contest? Was it like 2020? I mean, we had 2022, the whole stage not working thing, the jury votes fiasco, all the Israel drama. Like, he did a shitty job, so it's good that he's out. But I don't know if I would be really hopeful about what's to come. And also, there have been changes made in the reference group. And the Spanish head of delegation, Ana Maria Bordas, is now the director of that reference group. I mean, I like it for a bit because, Spain is a country that has one of Israel's biggest detractors in the Eurovision Song Contest. So that's another thing that makes me kind of hopeful. But at the same time, that woman, as the Spanish head of delegation, has been messy. Like, she came in what was it? 2017 or 2018. And since then, the results have been 26th, 23rd, 22nd, 24th. Then she left, so when Chanel placed there, she wasn't there. She came back in the year of Blanca Paloma, 17, 22, 24. I mean, that's not a good track record. And I'm scared. I know that the position, like the position that she's holding is really different than the HOD one, but she doesn't have a track record of doing things right. And also there were more people included in the reference group. I think it was the HODs from Croatia and Armenia. Well, yeah, changes basically. Well, now moving on to this year's Eurovision Song Contest, it's going to be held in Vienna. Finally, I saw an image online of what the Eurovision village was going to look like. I thought it was really cute. So now let's see if they can pull it off in like reality. But yeah, and also I wanted to talk about the new Eurovision logo, which is horrendous. I understand that they wanted to change it for not that they wanted to change it because I wouldn't have changed it, but I understand that they wanted to bring something new for the 70th anniversary. But yeah, the previous logo was great. It didn't have anything wrong with it. Now, the new logo seems like much more childish to me. They're making like the song contest also in the same size as the World Eurovision, which is them desperately trying to emphasize that this is a song contest when everything's turning more and more political every single year. And it also looks awful. It looks like the logo of a dairy products brand. It's like I'm buying cheese, Eurovision cheese, and I do not like that. And yeah, it's also like quite childish. And if they don't put the flag of the organizing country in the logo, that would also be like an even bigger disappointment, at least for me. And we also have 22 countries that have already apparently confirmed or hinted at their participation next year. And I'm not going to read them all because it's pointless. Like, go on Google. I'm recording this the 27th of August. So when this podcast is released, it might have changed because I'm planning to release it like in 4 or 5 days. So so far we have 22 participating countries with that country included. So hopefully in some time they will be 21. Montenegro is not leaving, which is, I mean, a good surprise. And apparently they're using the same national final, which I actually liked this year because I didn't expect a good show from Montenegro, and it wasn't a good show. But at least, f- I mean, I find it quite amazing that from 32 songs that were submitted, they had like maybe two or three options that were okay for Eurovision. And actually think that the winning song, well, no, not the winning song, the song that actually went to Eurovision was a good song, and it had those chances of qualifying. Then they got buried by the running order. The staging was really weird, and her dress was really weird. And then she unfortunately had that voice crack in the live show, but it wasn't looking that bad in at the moment for Montenegro. And then also apparently Andorra, Bosnia, Slovakia, and Bulgaria are not coming back this year. I mean, Bulgaria, we need to take it with a grain of salt because it was this Twitter account, like the Bulgaria Eurovision Twitter account, which I feel like you can never trust them 100% because was it like in the end of 2023 or something like that? Like they posted that they were like coming back the following year, and in the end they didn't. So yeah, but anyways, I do not think that they are going to come back yet. I mean, hopefully in the future, but I don't think they're gonna do it yet. And then also, uh, I do not remember how this was exactly. I do not remember if it was that a songwriting camp was being held in Romania or that Romanian artists were being invited to a songwriting camp, or if it was the Romanian television that was being invited to one of those songwriting camps. But yeah, some people have taken that as a hint of Romania coming back to Eurovision, and I think that they might be trying. Will they pull it off? I don't know, but I think they're gonna try, because out of the countries that didn't participate last year, I think the only ones with like a real chance of coming back are North Macedonia, Romania, and Moldova, which also haven't said anything yet. I hope they return, but I am not really sure about it. Well, that's all I have to say about the participating countries so far. So now let's move on to some rumors that had me on a chokehold for a couple of days, which were the rumors of Loïc Nottet coming back to the Eurovision Song Contest, and I kind of mentioned it in the introductory episode, and the rumors have been since debunked by the Belgian television, but again, it wouldn't be the first time like that rumors come out and then someone claims those rumors to be fake and then they end up being true in the like Eurovision bubble. But it would have been an amazing choice. Like they haven't queued for the past 2 years, and I think Legnotet would have been like a safe bet. He's a creative mastermind, and if being a 19-year-old guy without a career, they gave him full control, and he came back with a fourth place. Imagine what he could do now with 10 years of experience. I mean, they should try it at least. Like if it's not this year, the next year or 2028 maybe. Trying to bring back Loic, give him full creative control, let him make the song that he wants, let him make the staging that he wants, and I think it would come out amazing. It would be like a piece of art, and they would definitely qualify. And if they didn't qualify with like I would start getting like paranoid about it and withdraw if I were them. But yeah, apparently this year those rumors aren't true. And then we also have some changes in the way that some countries are going to choose the representative for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Because, regarding national finals, there are some classics that we always know, like they're gonna happen, such as Melfest or Sanremo or Melody Grand Prix. And then there are also some countries that have been sticking to an internal selection for a few years and are still going to do so this year, such as the United Kingdom. But then we have, so far, there are two countries that have announced like serious like changes to their selection methods for this year's contest. So the first one is Poland, which after in my opinion, a really successful national final last year, which had like a couple of songs actually that could do really well. I remember besides Justina, we had like Krust, I think it was called. I do not know how to pronounce it. And also the other duo, which is even harder to pronounce, and Dominic Dudek, and also even Cuba, if they got the staging right in Basel, they would have gone to the final, I think. But then this year, they've decided to scrap everything. Apparently, I read this from like a Eurovision news outlet, but apparently they're going to use The Voice Poland to choose this year's representative, which I find weird. Like, they already do that for Junior Eurovision. Well, they have done it this year, so we do not know how it's going to turn out yet. But they're doing it for the Adult Song Contest as well, and I do not trust that. Like, I understand if you have like a huge songwriting team behind you, or you know that you're going to get a great song, but keep in mind the last two internal selections from Poland were The Tower, which I love that song, but it was not really competitive, and The Ride 2021, that was a choice. That was a mess. It was horrible, and the results show. So yeah, I'm quite scared about Poland this year. We'll talk about it in the following episodes because I'm going to do like a format where I'll comment what I think will happen with every single country this year. I'm going to try it out in this episode with Junior Eurovision, and then in the following like 2 or 3 episodes, we'll do it with the Eurovision, like regular Eurovision countries. And also, our host country, Austria, is changing their like selection format to a national final, which again I do not know what to expect. I do not know if I'm really excited about it. As you can tell, I usually don't like changes. I do not trust changes. Maybe that's my problem and not Austria or Poland's problem, but I'm just kind of scared that we might end up with Germany like national final. And I'm not talking about this year's national final, which was horrible, but not so horrible. I'm talking like 2019 national final, 2023, 23, 23? Yeah, 2024 maybe. Yeah, Isaac was in 2024. Okay, so I'm talking about like 2019 or 2024 national finals, which were a disaster. And I'm sorry, 2024, the result was, I mean, great comparing it with like Germany's track record, but that song didn't deserve like a what 14th place it got 13th 14th. No way. But yeah, I'm scared that we're gonna have something like that, but let's see, we'll have to wait. And finally, we're going to be talking for quite some time about Junior Eurovision. This year it's going to be held in I was gonna say Norway. In Georgia. I mean, the venue is a little mini tiny ultra teeny tiny shoebox. The budget is also the lowest it's been in a really long time. I mean, and I felt for the last like couple of years that Georgia doesn't really care a lot about Eurovision. I was afraid they were going to withdraw for next year's contest, and also with like this new government that is really trying to use this as a pro-Russian propaganda tool. I do not know how to feel about this year's contest. I mean, being a children's show, they should keep it like more lightly because this year's entry for Eurovision was pure propaganda, and also besides being horrible, yeah, it was propaganda, and I hope they will not do that in the Junior Eurovision Song Contest. And hopefully, if they even choose to do it, the EBU won't allow them to. But anyways, we have 18 countries who have confirmed their participation so far, which are Albania, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Croatia, Cyprus, France, Georgia, Ireland, Italy, Malta, Montenegro, the Netherlands, North Macedonia, Poland, Portugal, San Marino, Spain, and Ukraine. So I do not think that we're getting any more countries. I find it funny that in a moment where we're just hoping that no one will withdraw from the adult Eurovision because we already have like fewer countries than we did a few years ago, and we're scared that we might even end up in what 32 or 33 countries. The number of participants in Junior Eurovision is growing. Last year we had 17, the year before there were 16, and this year we have at least 18. I think we're gonna have 18 because I can't think about any other country like coming. But now I wanted to, as I told you before, I took this idea from Alicia Michelle, a queen. She's like a Eurovision content creator on YouTube. I've seen her on YouTube. She also has, well, she has Instagram and TikTok, but mainly, personally, I watch her on YouTube. Her content is amazing. And yeah, I took this idea that she also has a podcast, Eurovision for Real, shout out. I took this idea from her podcast actually. She did it before the 2024 edition of the regular Eurovision, where she went through most of the countries that were going to be participating in that year's contest, and they went one by one, saying if they thought they were gonna come correct or not, and giving their reasoning for that. So I wanted to do the same thing here with the participants in Junior Eurovision, and I will do it with the participating countries for Eurovision in the following weeks. But here the situation is a tiny bit different because there are some countries that have already chosen their representatives, and we already have a song. Let's kick off there. Let's kick off with Albania, which is going to be represented by, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, Kronipula, with the song Fruta Perime, which translates to fruits and vegetables. I haven't translated the full lyrics yet, but I'm really curious. I might do it for next week's episode. Here's the thing with Albania for me. Uh, she, like the singer, clearly has potential. She has a good voice and she has a lot of charisma, I think. But the song, I mean, maybe it's because in the national final they did, the stage was tiny, the sound was horrible. Maybe that's part of the problem. But the song, it's not that it's not competitive, it's that it's simply not good. Particularly, like the verses are fine, but the chorus is so annoying. Like it's really repetitive, and it also gets repeated a lot throughout the song, and it's almost kinda shouty at some points. Well, no, it's shouty in general. So yeah, I do not know if they have that big of a chance of getting like a replacement from Georgia. I do not think that they will end up being English because I don't know what happens with Junior Eurovision, but the last places are always kind of surprising. So I don't think it will be Albania taking the last place, but I don't think they're coming correct this year. No, they aren't. Then we also have like a couple of countries who have chosen the representative but not the song. The first one is Croatia, who is going to be represented by, here again, me butchering the pronunciation, Marino Vrgoc. I tried to make it sound Croatian and I think I just sounded dumb. But anyway, Croatia has like a really weird track record in Junior Eurovision because they won like the first Junior Eurovision ever, we all know that. And then they stayed for a couple more years. They withdrew, and the last we've heard from them in Junior Eurovision is 2014. 2014 is one of the worst Junior Eurovision performances ever. It was a disaster. I feel so bad for that little girl who had to go there on that stage and perform that song. It was genuinely, I mean, you watch it and it's genuinely a hard time to watch it. So, I mean, I think that Croatia came back because, after Baby Lasagna, all that success, maybe 2024 was too soon for them to come back and they decided to, you know, postpone it into 2025. I think it was actually like one of the first countries that confirmed their participation, but maybe, I think, maybe this year after mm, Marco Bosniak, was it? That this year's representative from Croatia. Maybe that excitement has faded a bit. So I'm scared. The boy sings. He clearly can sing. But I'm really scared that they're going to give him one of those sleepy, slow ballads that is going to do absolutely nothing. So I have to say they're not coming correct this year for me. Then it would be funny to come back after the contest. Yeah, after the contest and see how many I got right. But yeah, Albania is not coming correct and Croatia isn't doing it either. Well, I think with Junior Eurovision, it's easier to predict than Eurovision because there are like 5 or 6 countries that are
coming correct every single year, and the rest of them are kind of like floating. But next country is North Macedonia, who have selected Nela Manchesca. So Macedonia has the really strange curse of placing 12, like 8 or 9 times. But I don't have the exact number. I'm going to look for it. So they have participated 20 times in the contest and they have placed 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. They have placed in like almost half of the times they participated, they've placed 12. So will they avoid that curse this year? So this year actually placing 12 wouldn't be that bad because we have 18 countries participating, so it would be like mid-table even. But lately they haven't been serving much. So 2024 we had Marathon, which no thank you. They placed like second to last. Yeah, second to last. The year before we had Tamara, which was actually a good song. It flew under the radar a bit, but it was not a bad song. Then also 2022 was kind of a disaster. They managed to place 14th. They didn't get last place. And then 2021 we had Daite Musica. It was actually one of my favorite performances from that year. Really underrated. They placed ninth. And looking at this, I mean, I don't think we're going to get like a top 5 finish from North Macedonia. I don't think anybody expects that. I do not think North Macedonia is coming correct either. And then another country that have already announced their representative for this year is Poland, which, as I've said before, they've chosen their representative through the voice, like the Voice Kids Poland. And I mean, she won the voice, so she clearly can sing. But I think this is a make or break year for Poland because they were kind of having their golden era these past couple of years, like winning 2 times in a row. Then also 22, I think 2020 actually was really good and they deserved a better placing than they got. Then 2021 they almost took it again. And if it wasn't for Malena, if Sarah James would have competed in any year after 2021, she would have won by a landslide. So it was a second place, but they could have won that definitely. And 2023 was, I do not remember her name, but the I Need a Friend girl. She had actually a good song, and the result was not that bad. Wait, let me. Yeah, they placed sixth, which is not bad. And then last year they had kind of a slip up with, was he Dominic? I think he was called Dominic, and you know that ballad with those awful AI visuals of him becoming an old man, which were definitely weird. So I just hope they, number one, I hope they don't go the AI route again. Please do not touch that. And number two, I hope they give us like a polished pop song like they did back in, 2019, 2020, 2021. I also hope that they give us like a nice polished pop song like they did in, 2019, 2020, 2021. So yeah, I'm going to have like a little bit of hope this year for Poland. And again, I think this could be the year that marks the end of their golden era in Eurovision, but I hope it doesn't, actually, because they've brought us some really good songs. And then also, Portugal has also chosen their representative, Inés Gonçalves. So I think that Portugal is going to be hungry for a win this year. They came really close last year without even well, after the song was released, you could have expected, a Portuguese win. But before the song got released, I think no one, even in Portugal, expected to be in winner contention. So I think this year they're going to try really hard to make it. Poland, besides last year, hasn't had much success in the contest. We have the 2021 result where they placed like top 10th and they were like third in the televote or something, which was crazy. I definitely wasn't expecting that. But then all the results have been quite middle of the road. So I hope this year they finish turning it around and we finally get a streak of good results from Portugal in Junior Eurovision. And then the final country that has already announced their representative is my dear beloved Spain. Our representative is going to be Gonzalo Pinillos. Uh, I've seen his Instagram. He's on a musical here. Los chicos del coro. I do not know how to translate that. I mean, the chorus or the chorists. He clearly has some pipes. He clearly has the talent. He clearly has the personality. Like from interviews, watching him from interviews, you know he's going to deliver personality. And he's also said he wants a ballad, and I think that they will follow through with that plan. They're going to give him the song he wants. And I mean, I'm always scared for Spain because, in the adult Eurovision, we tend to fuck up really badly. But then in Junior Eurovision, we do not do that bad. So I think we are coming correct this year. We've come correct ever since we came back in 2019 because Melanie should have won, in my opinion. Then 2020, well, maybe 2020 we didn't come that correct, but 2021 we did come correct. The result was not deserved. We placed 15th out of 19. What? He deserved at least top 10. And then we had Carlos Dijes in 2022, which was we really did come correct. We almost won it all in 2023 with Sandra. And 2024 we hosted the contest and Chloe was really fun and we did come correct too. So I hope this year we're going to come correct too. And the next country I'm going to talk about is Ukraine. So now we're entering the countries that haven't chosen their representative yet. I wanted to start with a country that we know for sure is going to come correct because Ukraine always comes correct. I find it really funny when mostly locals, but even some people in the Eurovision fandom say that Ukraine is doing good at Eurovision and Junior Eurovision because of the war, and I'm like, no, look up, like look it up, look at the data. They've always been doing everything right. They always come correct way before, like even since their debut. Ukraine always comes correct even before the war started. Like they were getting wins and top fives. So this year Ukraine is coming correct, and they're holding like a national final, and Tarabarova and Aliona Leona are like I think the main songwriters for the songs. Which I mean, what else is there to say? They are a winner contender without even knowing the artist or the song. They are a really likely winner. So yeah, Ukraine is definitely coming correct. Next up, we have Azerbaijan, which has only participated like a handful of times in the contest. They haven't had like, well, yeah, in 2021 they actually did really good. They managed to get like fourth or fifth place, but the other two or three times they've participated, they haven't done that well. So, and also that fourth place was still in the time when Azerbaijan was constantly taking Swedish rejects. Now they're trying to do their own thing, and in Eurovision, it's not working out a lot. So I don't think they're coming correct, and I don't want to talk about Azerbaijan too much. I'm sorry. Moving on to the next country, which is Montenegro. I'm surprised to see them participating, and for Montenegro, I'm fine with them placing anywhere in the scoreboard if they return next year. I just want them to keep on competing because I honestly do not know where they're getting the money from. I'm happy for it. I'm happy for them. I want them participating. But yeah, it's really surprising that they not only have the budget for Eurovision and for Montesong, but they also have the budget for Junior Eurovision. So Montenegro has participated twice in the Junior Eurovision Song Contest. Those two songs are a mess. They are like, but a mess, even like it's so messy that it gets turned around and it becomes iconic. Because those two performances, I want them tattooed in my brain forever. I love them. They are so fun. They are messy. They are low quality, but they are so, so, so fun. And I just want them to bring that. To bring us the fun, bring us the camp, bring us the, yeah, colors, energy. Yeah, I need that from them. So, do I think they are coming correct for my personal taste? Yes. Do I think they are coming correct results wise? No. And moving on to the next country that I have here, which is France. I mean, we had a bit of a crisis this year with the whole Nice scandal funding thing. Everyone thought, well, not everyone, but a lot of us thought they were going to withdraw. They didn't do that, which is amazing in the first place. And I mean, France, since they came back in 2018, they've been coming correct constantly year after year, except for 2022. I do not understand how they won in 2022. That was not okay. I could think of like five other songs that deserve to win more than France that year. I'm sorry. But yeah, they've been coming really, really correct these past couple of years. And last year, everyone thought that France was going to finally get a mid or bad result. They didn't. They somehow managed to get, I think it was top five, it was like fourth place or something. And yeah, it looks like they have also finally let Barbara Pravi out of the basement. Yay. They had her locked in there writing songs for Junior Eurovision for like 3 or 4 years. And they finally let her go. So I'm excited to see what France brings to the table this year. And I think they are definitely coming correct. And then we have the host nation of this year, which is Georgia. I don't think they want to embarrass themselves in home ground. I think they're going to go for a safe bet. And if you look at Georgia's track record really closely, well, not really closely, you just have to, look at the different songs they've sent. They always send this either small guy with really fun colors and a lot of charisma with a fun song, or a guy with, or a girl with a huge voice and a really, 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 and a really big ballad. Which for me, like in Junior Eurovision, I feel like both of those options are really jury bait. I mean, the first one, maybe not. The first one, maybe you're getting jury votes, but also some of the public. But the second, like the, big voice ballad kind of way, I mean, it's how they won last year. They get a huge ton of points from the juries, and then the televote doesn't even matter. And I think they're gonna go that way. They're gonna choose another boy with a huge voice, and they're going to give him like a ballad, make sure that they get a handful of points from the juries to get a nice placing, and there it's going to be really well executed. So I'm not worried about Georgia this year. I think they're gonna go safe and they're gonna get a good placing. So yeah, I think they're coming correct this year. So now moving on to Ireland. So this is another country where if you look at their track record, do they have any good results besides Sophie Lennon in 2021? I don't think do they have any other top tens? Let me look it up. Ireland is not a big powerhouse in Eurovision anymore, and not in Junior Eurovision either. Yeah, they have another top 10, 2016, but in 2016, how many countries were there? Oh, 17. They got a top 10 in 2016 too. But then we have like 2023's last place, which I think wasn't deserved. We have almost a last place last year. We had 18th out of, yeah, almost a last place again in 2021. And that doesn't look really promising for Ireland. I assume they will keep their national final format to choose the representative, and I just don't think they're coming correct. I hope they will, because when they give us that kind of um ethnic forest ballad, they do it in a really good way. And I liked Banshee, I loved Solas, and I loved the year they got last place. And again, last year for me it was like I said with Montenegro. That's a song that I'm going to love because I love colorful disasters. But again, it's a disaster. It was a mess. She didn't place last by a small margin. So I do not have much hope for Ireland this year, sadly. The next country is Cyprus. Last year, this song was actually really good. The staging was the disappointment for me. And then also, if you look at their track record, they do not have many good placings either. I mean, I do not know about, the early era of Junior Eurovision, but then they came back in 2014, I think. Yeah, they came back in 2014. They placed ninth, which is not bad. Then they withdrew in 2015, and then they came back, and in 2016 and 2017, they placed 16th both times, which meant in 2016 that was a second to last place, and in 2017 it was a last place for them. And then they came back last year, they placed 13th out of 17. Again, the staging was not there for me, but the song was alright, and I want them to give to give I was going to say to give us ethnic bops like last year's song. I do think we will get a nice song from Cyprus, and I actually do have a feeling that they're going to do good this year. I hope so because I think if they flop again, well, last year was not a flop, but if they don't get a good placing this year, they might withdraw again, and I don't want that. So I'm also hoping for a good result from Cyprus. So yeah, I think they're coming correct this year. Then we have San Marino, which is clearly not coming correct. I mean, what else can I say? Last year was a disaster. Like, it was a very clear last place. Like, really, really clear. I remember, like, last year we had like that weird voting system for the juries where they said that they gave out all the ones, then all the twos, and so on and so on. And when there were only 8, 10, and 12, or 10 and 12 remaining, we had all the countries with a, somewhat normal amount of points. And then we had Georgia and San Marino with, I think, 0 and 1. Like Georgia had 0 and San Marino had like 1 or 2. And obviously, it was going to be Georgia landsliding the jury. But I thought for a second, what if San Marino got like 10 sentences from the jury, which was a good laugh. But obviously, it didn't become a reality. It was a huge car crash in the Junior Eurovision stage. Uh, the song was terrible. The choreo that they had the girls doing was not good. The visuals were not good. And I mean, the girls did okay, but they weren't given good material to work with. So, I mean, last place was the best they could hope for as long as they didn't get a 0. So, San Marino, I'm sorry, they're not coming correct. I'm glad they're participating. I'm happy for them. And I hope this year they will surprise us and give us a great song, but I don't think it's going to be the case. And Italy doesn't care about Eurovision, so well, maybe they do care, but I feel like the Italian population doesn't really care that much for Eurovision. So, Junior Eurovision, I ask myself, do they even know? Like the general public, do they even know it exists? Because a lot of people here in Spain are unaware of your Eurovision. And here in Spain, there are a lot of Eurovision fans, and even though we complain a lot about it and we say we don't like it, we really care about it every single year. So I can't imagine how many people will watch it in Italy. I remember one day, I think it was 2021, where an article came out like with the viewership in Italy for Eurovision, and it was like 20,000 people, and I was like, oh my god, they are so withdrawing next year. In the end, they didn't, but it also was like it was being broadcast in a small channel, so maybe that's part of the reason. Because then the following year, I think, was when they broadcasted it in Rai One, like the main channel, and the the ratings, like the share, went up. But do they even care about it? These past couple of years, like 2021, the song was okay. I love one song that I love from Italy in Junior Eurovision is 2016. I beg them to give us a song like that one, and I mean they placed third, so the rest of Europe liked it too. But these past couple of years, they've been getting good results out of not really good efforts. So I don't know, will they continue with that same luck, or will they actually send something good? Because yeah, we had Chanel Electa in 2022. I love that song, but again, it's one of those cases where I love it, but I know it's a mess. Then 2023, no thanks. And last year, everyone thought that they were going to end up last or second to last or like bottom three. No, last place was for San Marino, but second to last or in the bottom three, and they placed ninth in the top 10, which I think was a lot of luck, definitely. So I hope they surprise us this year and give us something good, but they might come correct results wise, but I don't think they're gonna come correct like performance wise. And I'm sorry, Italy, but I have to say that. Next, we have Malta. So, Malta, this last couple of years, is a mixed bag both regarding results and songs. So, I'm gonna go back to 2017. That was the first year that I followed Junior Eurovision. And they had this little guy, Gianluca Castilla. I'm looking at his name here. And that was actually really fun. They placed ninth, which was not really good, but I think they deserve better. Then last year we had Ella, which got a top five. The next year we had Eliana Blanco. She placed last. She didn't deserve that. She deserved top 10. I'm sorry I said it. Mm, I love that song. Then 2020 we had in 2020 they did deserve last place and they didn't get it. And then in 2021 they sent Ike and Kaya with My Home, which got a 12th place. I didn't like that song at first, but then something clicked in me and I started liking it. So I think that was like a fair result and it was not that bad. And then we had Gayaga Mutsa dropped Queen. I mean, Malta doesn't deserve the last places that they have in these last couple of years because Gaia Gambuzza also placed last and she didn't deserve it. And then in 2023, we had Yulan, which, I mean, she's really talented and she had been trying to go to Junior Eurovision for a couple of years back then. And they should have given her a better song with Yulan, with the right song. She could have won. That was Malta's moment to have another win. And she could have made it. But they gave her a shitty song. They also got buried in the running order. They got second place. But they still placed top 10. And then last year we had Ramirez Iberras. I will never like that song, but they got a top five. So Malta is like a lottery for the most part, and I'm just gonna have a lot of hope. They're never gonna have Destiny again. You cannot beat that. She is the best that Junior Eurovision has ever gotten. But yeah, I feel like Malta can pull off another top five if they want to, and I think they are gonna come correct. And finally, we're going to comment a national selection. I think it's going to be the only one we're going to talk about from this year's Junior Eurovision. Well, maybe if Ukraine does like a national final that's not too big and has good quality songs, we might also talk about that one. But I want to talk about Junior Songfestival because it's the only national final I follow for Junior Eurovision. I've been following it since 2019 and I've been feeling for these past couple of years that the level of the songs is not really there, but then you have like a huge standout that saves them from getting a bad place at Junior Eurovision. But this year, I do not feel that we have a safe bet for Junior Eurovision, and we have four okay songs. I don't feel like any of them stand out for me. So I'm going to comment on them from what I think is gives them the least options for Junior Eurovision to the one that I think that gives them the better chance at Junior Eurovision. First up is Coco Antone with the song Stronger Summer. Um, Please don't send this. Like this has zero chances of getting a good result in Georgia. It's a nice song, and I feel like with the Netherlands, like watching their national final these past couple of years, they're trying to hop on to different trends, and they are trying to use Gen Z slang. And maybe I'm Gen Z, well, maybe this is even like Gen Alpha already, but back then when it was all Gen Z, I'm Gen Z, and I already found it quite cringy. Maybe I'm an old soul. Maybe I'm a bitter old lady in the body of an 18-year-old, but I find it quite cringy when they try to do that, and Stronger Summer kind of does that. But anyway, I do not think this has like any chance of winning Junior Song Festival. Then again, I say that and then they'll end up winning and going to Junior Eurovision, but I hope not. So next up is Level Up with the song Rule the World. This is my personal favorite regarding the studio cuts. This is my favorite, but they haven't chosen a boy band since what? Since Force, since 2017. The Netherlands have. In fact, I think that's the only boy band they've chosen. And keep in mind, they have a boy band every single. Well, maybe not every single year, but most years they will have a boy band, and they will do terribly, like last place or maybe second to last. But they never end up winning. So I do not feel like they have huge chances of winning, and seeing the song and seeing them perform, seeing them in the music video, I do not think that the live performance is going to be really good either. And one thing, I find it funny, the guy in the red jacket, doesn't he look like kind of like the young Sheldon for a moment? Kind of. And then we have this year's girl band, which is called Iconic with the song Don't Touch. They are serving girl power. This is the most basic song I've heard in a while, but yeah, it's effective. I mean, the performance is gonna be okay. They have kind of like a chance of winning this, and I don't think that they would get a really bad placing in Georgia in case they went to Eurovision. But I'm not really rooting them for the win because even now, sitting here, I I listened to the songs yesterday a couple of times while preparing this podcast, and I do not remember how it goes. So that's not a good signal. And then finally, I think the best song in this national final regarding Junior Eurovision is Meadow with her entry Freeze. I mean, the song again, it's basic. It doesn't stand out from the crowd, but it has kind of like some is interesting elements like the freeze part where they all stop like they're frozen. I think that's really cool, and she also has the moves. Like she knows how to dance, and I think they're gonna give us a great show in this live stage. I think she's the most likely to win. Now, I say that and she won't win. She will place like last, but I think she has the best chances of winning this. I think she's going to deliver the best live performance. I mean, we need to wait for the vocals because, yeah, she went through an audition, but in that audition, she didn't have to dance while singing. So let's see how much choreo she has and if she can sing while dancing. If she can do that, like for me, she's the safest bet for Junior Eurovision and she's gonna get a good placing. But I mean, let's see what they choose. I do not know like the date. It's in October, I think. Let me look it up. So it's taking place. It's taking part. I was gonna say no. It's taking place the 20th of September. So we have like 20 days. I'm recording this on the 27th of August, but you will have this episode available on the 1st of September. So 20 days left until the Dutch national final. So to sum up everything, I think if they send Meadow of or if they send Iconic, they're coming correct this year. But if they send Level Up or if they send Coco and Tuve, they're not coming correct this year. There lies the question, who are they gonna send? And with that we have everything that I wanted to cover for this week's episode. So I hope you liked it. If you liked it, leave a rating. Also leave a comment. Please. I'll try to leave a question. I do not know this week where I'm going to do. So, last week I left the question of what's your favorite Eurovision song? And then later thinking about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I could have asked the listeners what was their glitter moment and what was their trauma moment. So I think I'm going to ask that one this time. And then also follow the podcast on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, and on YouTube. Um, yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope the audio is better. I hope my English is going to slowly get better in the coming weeks. I will be here next week to comment on some of the most relevant news and to start talking about if the Eurovision 2026 countries are coming correct or not. Have a nice week. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye, I guess. Uh, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice week and bye.